Blood pressure, 88/52. Skin clammy, pupils dilated. Kevin sat in the ER holding room, hands trembling, sweat seeping through his collar despite the cold. I wasn't his doctor, but I was the only one he'd let near him. "I did it," he said, voice hoarse. "Tell them. I stabbed him. It was me." The words barely made sense. I gripped his wrist tighter than I should have. "Kevin, what are you saying?" He looked at me then, wild-eyed, defiant, like someone who knew exactly what he was sacrificing. "Ryan didn't do it. I won't let him go down for this. It was me." He wanted me to lie. Wanted me, a licensed psychiatrist with everything to lose, to confirm a version of reality that was so obviously false I felt the air crackle with the weight of it. I knew Ryan. I'd watched him grow up, smiled at his high school graduation, listened to Kevin brag about him like any proud father would. But now, Kevin's knuckles were split, raw but clean, no bruises, no sign of a struggle. The body, Miles Gentry, had been found 2 hours earlier, stabbed through the lung in a downtown alley. And Ryan? Ryan had no alibi, except his father. I sat in the hallway outside the ICU, numb. Nurses buzzed past. An orderly dropped a tray. My ears rang with the echo of Kevin's voice. I did it. But he didn't. And I knew that. Because 2 days ago, Ryan had sat across from me in my office, in that chair everyone instinctively feared. He hadn't cried, he'd smiled. "You ever wonder how far someone would go to protect what they love?" he asked. It was casual, too casual. "Are we still talking about you, Ryan?" He smiled wider. Always. Now I couldn't unhear that. I couldn't unsee the gleam in his eyes. Not fear, not guilt. Triumph. Kevin was being played, and I was being cornered. That night, I poured bourbon over ice and stared at my license on the wall. Dr. David Adler. 42 years of careful integrity, precision, calm. What Kevin asked of me, silence, was betrayal of everything that title meant. But how could I betray him? He saved me once, kept me alive when I spiraled, when my ex left, when I almost lost my practice. He'd dropped everything, flown across the country, and pulled me out. Now he was handing his life over for a son who wouldn't even flinch watching him burn. And he wanted my help to light the match. So I had a choice. Stay quiet and become complicit, or speak up and destroy the man who once saved mine. I looked down at my phone. One new voicemail. "Ryan. Hey, Dr. Adler. Just wanted to thank you for not saying anything. Really, means the world." Click. The voice was smooth, grateful, predatory. And in that moment, I realized I wasn't in the middle of a tragedy. I was in the first act of a carefully orchestrated game, and someone was betting I'd play by the rules. They had no idea who they were dealing with. The next morning, I walked into St. Luke's courthouse lobby under the guise of a routine forensic consult. Clipboard, badge, steady steps. No one questioned me. That's the gift of being invisible in plain sight, respected, predictable. Kevin was being arraigned in a private chamber. No cameras, no media frenzy. Just a quiet man pleading guilty to second-degree murder he didn't commit. Ryan wasn't there. I asked the bailiff, playing dumb. The boy? Victim's friend? Didn't show. Said he was under emotional distress. The man muttered, eyes rolling. Of course he didn't show. He didn't need to. I sat in the gallery behind frosted glass. I watched Kevin's shoulders curl inward with each word the judge read, like a man dying 1 inch at a time. The prosecutor recited the plea terms. The judge nodded. "Mr. Brennan, do you understand the charges?" Kevin's voice was a thread. "Yes." "And do you understand the consequences of this plea?" "Yes." I stood. "Your Honor, may I speak?" Heads turned. Kevin's eyes widened. The judge peered over his glasses. Dr. Adler, this isn't your courtroom. No, I said, but it's my patient. And I have reason to believe Mr. Brennan is suffering from dissociative delusions brought on by acute psychological trauma. Gasps. The clerk dropped a pen. Kevin's mouth parted, not in rage, in something closer to heartbreak. You don't know what you're doing, he said, quiet. No, I answered. I know exactly what I'm doing. They halted the plea, ordered a psych evaluation. I bought time. That night, I drove to Ryan's apartment. He opened the door with a smirk. Took you long enough. You really thought I'd let him go down for you? I asked. He leaned against the doorframe. He's a grown man. Made his choice. No, I said. You made it for him. And then I showed him what I found. The deleted messages, the tracking app logs, the dark web post looking for non-traceable blunt instruments. He wasn't just a manipulator. He was careful, but not careful enough. I dropped a flash drive on his doorstep. Everything's backed up. One call to the police and your future dissolves. He scoffed. So what? You going to confess to breaking confidentiality, perjury, obstruction? No, I said. I'm going to do what I do best. Tell the truth, in ways that matter. He looked nervous now. Good. Before I left, I said, You wanted a power game. Welcome to my field. I walked away without looking back. I had a story to prepare, a truth to dismantle, patient by patient, and a boy to unmask, not through revenge, through exposure. 3 days later, I invited Ryan to my office. He arrived late, dressed clean, casual, relaxed, arrogance in every step. I offered him a seat. He didn't take it. So what's this? Some kind of intervention? He asked. No, I said. A demonstration. I pressed play on the recording. His voice, from our last meeting. You ever wonder how far someone would go to protect what they love? His smile flickered. I slid over a folder. Inside, transcripts of anonymous forum posts he'd written, a money trail from a burner account used to hire the man who delivered the fatal blow to Miles Gentry, and a message chain from the victim's stolen phone. Conversations Ryan had forged between Kevin and Miles to manufacture motive. His jaw tightened. This won't hold up. Maybe not in court, I said. But in public? At your school? To your internship board? He was silent now. I stood, walked to the bookshelf, pulled out the one file I never thought I'd use, a psychiatric recommendation for involuntary commitment, dated today. You're clever, Ryan, but not smarter than me, and you picked the wrong puppet. He blinked. You wouldn't. I already did. He lunged for the folder. I pulled it back. You want to know the difference between us? I asked. You manipulate to destroy. I manipulate to protect. Outside, I heard footsteps. Detective Hall knocked. Time. Ryan looked at me, truly afraid for the first time, and then he smiled. A slow, serpentine grin. You know he'll never forgive you, right? I didn't answer. Didn't need to. As they cuffed him and walked him out, he turned back. Tell him I'm sorry. I stood alone. Later that evening, Kevin sat across from me in a holding room. The plea was off the table, charges dismissed. He looked older, emptier. You betrayed me, he whispered. I saved you, I replied. He covered his face and said nothing. 6 weeks passed before Kevin called. Not to thank me, not to apologize, just, you still have that bourbon? We sat on the back porch of my home, cicadas buzzing in the trees, glasses sweating in the heat. He didn't look at me for a long time. When did you know? He finally asked. The moment he smiled after telling me he didn't do it. Kevin exhaled, slow. I should have seen it. No, I said. You were his father. You wanted to believe him. Silence stretched between us, long and dense. He swirled the glass. I kept asking myself why you did it, why you went against me. I didn't answer. He looked up, eyes glassy. Then I remembered what you told me when you were at your lowest. That sometimes saving someone means letting them hate you. The ice clicked in our glasses. He raised his. To enemies, we love. I clinked mine gently against his. To truth, I said. We drank, and said nothing more.